Welcome to Galatta Plus, Manoj Bajpayee. It's such a pleasure to have you here.
Oh, thank you. It's my pleasure to be with you.
What is this? You're like occupying half the chair right now. It's like this was part of the decor, but now I think you really need to eat these muffins and kind of get back to how you were.
No, I mean, how I was when I had no control over eating, that's a long time back. I mean, last I was like that when I did Gangs of Wasseypur because I needed to be buffed up. But after that, yeah, I just gotten addicted to losing weight and being in a certain shape. But on top of that, when you are working with a director like Devashish Makhija and the role demands you to be much more leaner, then even the fruits will not help you.
So that's
even they are out.
Devashish's film is what you've lost this weight for.
Yes, we are almost in the lag end of the shoot.
So congratulations, because Satya is finally streaming in an HD print, and I think a new generation is going to discover Bhikhu Matre. So it's like, it's high time, right? Because everybody's seen bad prints on YouTube and stuff like that. Right. So now they can actually see the whole thing. Manoj, like about 10 years ago, you said that, you know, even now when you get a new role or when you approach a new role, you lose sleep.
Yeah.
Is that still the case?
I mean, can't you make out from my eyes? I'm still, yeah, it's something, you know, when you're not looking for validation from outside, rather you are more interested in being truthful to yourself, to your craft, then, you know, it surely affects you. It surely, you know, demands a lot from you because you are only answerable to yourself. You want that validation from your own self, and you don't tell lies to yourself that I have worked hard and, you know, I did everything for the character. To yourself, you know, when you're looking to the mirror, you should be honest about it. So, you know, just to answer myself by the end of the day and be truthful to myself, I have to work very hard on each and every character, even the film that I am doing right now. Though Devashish, you know, wanted, you know, 4 or 5 more days in the workshop, but we didn't have time. But also Devashish knew that I was with the script for 2 years or more than 2 years. So I had all the notes, you know, written all over the script. So I was ready. Actually, I was ready for the shoot since a long time, more than any other actors who were attending the workshop. But that's how it is, you know, when the initial 10 days, Baradwaj is tough. Now with experience, I don't let anybody know about my sleepless nights or my anxiety or nervousness. But the initial 10 days, at least till the time I find the soul of the character, it's a hectic, it's mentally very hectic for me, very tedious. I just hope that someone can put a camera inside my brain and, you know, really find out how nervous and miserable I am from the time we start preparing till the 10 days after the shoot. It's a time when I'm completely out. I'm not able to hear anything, even when my wife is talking to me, and she knows it. She knows me, and that is where, you know, the blessing lies. She knows this madness of Manoj Bajpayee. She knows that, you know, this is the guy who will not even recognize you if you go on the set. For that reason, she doesn't come on the set ever, you know, because she knows that no matter how much I'm laughing with people, there is another track which is completely keeping me engaged, and the track of the character and the flow of it.
I'm going to do a little flashback, go all the way back to 1994. Droh Kal, your first appearance. I'm talking about the scene where you and your fellow undercover cop are getting a briefing from Om Puri and Nasiruddin Shah. You know, you're so fresh right then, and you're standing in front of these legends. What were the thoughts running through your minds? Because now you're that legend. But at that time, what were the thoughts running through your mind when you were doing that?
Okay, so 93 I shot for Bandit Queen when I was still doing theatre in Delhi. Uh, but in Bombay, and the first film which released was Dhrokal.
Yeah.
I went to Mr. Govind Nilani, hoping that I'll get something really significant, at least in his films. But by the time I reached there, all the roles were gone. And he left it to me to choose if I really want to do that minuscule part or not. And I chose it. I chose it because of two reasons. A, I'll be getting to meet Mr. Nasuddin Shah and Mr. Om Puri. And B, I'll be part of Mr. Govind Nilani's film, who I still hold very high up there. His Satya and Akrosh, all of Party and so many other films have really inspired me to be really truthful to my craft. When the shoot day came, Baradwaj, to my bad luck, I felt very sick, very, very sick. So the scene the scene which is there, the shot which is there in the film, I was actually crying in pain inside when I was facing the camera. And Mr. Nasuddin Shah and Mr. Om Puri, both of them realized that this boy is actually in too much agony. So after the cut, they used to comfort me, they used to pamper me. Both of them knew that I came from theatre. Both of them knew that I started my career with Shekhar Kapoor, the film which is in the post-production. So the respect and the intrigue factor was there as to what kind of actor he must be good. Only because of that Shekhar has taken him in his film. Because of that brief introduction to these legends, who I very simply and plainly and truthfully say that they are one of the best actors in the world. Because we are in the habit of calling only Hollywood actors the best actors. But if you look at their filmography and the performances, they are no less than any Pacinos and the De Niros of the world.
Right.
So yeah, I got introduced to them. What is so great about great actors? That they are completely different from stars. They are not scared to sit with the new actors and talk to them about their life, about their approach, about their craft. They just sit down and share experiences, and they just talk, because they are more interested in people, in learning from other people by through interactions. The stars are more reserved and they are always guarding their privacy. The actors like Nasuddin Shah and Om Puri are not. They were very. Nasir Saab is still very, very, very friendly with me, and which I really think that is really great of him to pick up my call anytime. Anytime if I remember him, I just give him a call and he just picks up. And this has been going on since a long time. So yeah, it was kind of an indirect mentorship from them.
But you weren't intimidated or anything?
I was in awe of them.
Yeah.
I'm still in awe of Mr. Nasuddin Shah, believe me.
At that stage, I'm saying.
At that stage, my knees were all frozen, So the feeling is still there. Whenever I meet up with him, I like to listen to him. And I'm very, very aware of the fact that I'm sitting with the Nasuddin Shah,
right,
or I was sitting with the Om Puri. They intimidate me only because of one thing, that these guys have done those roles so many years back, when the commercial films, the mainstream films, were not leaving any space for any other kind of films. Yeah. There are so many factors to their greatness that I'm in awe of completely.
Now you're a legend, Manoj, and people look up to you the way you looked up to kind of a thing. When we look at it, it looks like an amazing journey. But from your side, has it been a fulfilling journey? Has it been a frustrating journey? A bit of both? How?
A bit of both. When we arrived on the scene, the 93, I shifted to Mumbai. If you just look at the films which the industry was making in those days, we didn't have any place in it.
Right.
And the roles that they could give it to us were not the roles that I wanted to do. I landed in Mumbai only because of Mr. Shekhar Kapoor's one sentence that nobody is asking you to do the roles of the films that you want to do, that you don't want to do. But whatever you will do, you'll get money out of it. Here in theatre, you are getting nothing.
Right.
You are almost leading a life of poverty, which will take you nowhere if you decide to get married. That has kind of, it's kind of hammered my brain, So, and that was the line which kind of coaxed me and pushed me to shift to the city. So yes, so the choice was mine. When you are deciding your choices and not letting others to decide or the industry to decide, then it becomes frustrating.
Right.
Because the choices that you're looking for is not there, is zero. And the only strength that I always had since my childhood is I have always been very stubborn and very patient. That always came to my rescue. So yeah, I mean, the roller coaster ride of miserable time and good time, sometime with Satya I went up, and after a few years I came, I kind of fell down with a big sound, thud, and then again there was a low time, but again there was with, Rajniti I started climbing up, and with Wasipur again went up. So but what has happened that the industry, whenever there was a good thing that I was part of, they again were giving me things that I didn't want to do. Then one day I decided to look for my own directors and the script. And Rajniti, Special 26 or Arakshan or Wasipur, these are the films have given me that strength to go out looking for my script, the script that I wanted to be part of, the directors I wanted to work with. And in the process, I found there was Shish Makhija. In the process, I found films like Gali Guliyan or Aligarh, and then Budhiya Singh or Rukh. Then the list is long, and the 5 films that I have, now I'm through with, is the directors that I have worked with in this 1 year. These choices is something that I wanted to be part of.
Right.
These are the films or the directors I wanted to work with, be it Ram Reddy or Kanu Behel or Rahul Chitela or Devashish Makhija or Abhishek Chaubey. So yeah, now it's a good time to be working in. Little bit of sadness is that I didn't come in. And it was not there when I was, much more younger, and the knees were just walking fine.
You wanted to become an actor always, right?
Right.
But when you were growing up, like we were growing up,
Right.
like we were almost the same age.
Right.
It's like it was all Bachchan, and that's the movies you grow up watching,
Right.
like Hindi especially.
Right.
So, did you want to become an actor, or did you want to become a specific kind of actor? Because at that time the parallel cinema was also happening. So did you want to just be in the movies, or did you even then you specifically wanted to be in the kind of movies that you're doing right now?
Actually, I know what I wanted to become is divided into 2 phases. When I was in 5th standard, I was exposed to this enigma of Mr. Bachchan, okay? And my father and mother, they were, major film buff, though my father was a farmer. So whenever he was traveling to the city where I was in the boarding, they used to get us out and take us to a movie. And I never wanted that film to end, ever. So the first thing I used to look at was the certificate that they used to show in the beginning. And there was a mention of reel, okay, 16 or 18.
Yeah.
If it is 18, I used to feel ecstatic. Oh, it's going to be, forever. So I never wanted those house lights to be switched on. So I just wanted to live in that magical world of cinema. And Mr. Bachchan was really doing some magic to this young mind. He was really preparing this this young boy for a great journey, but still very, very difficult journey. But Sahab, I just wanted to be part of that world. I just wanted to have that kind of a, magic thing about me, charisma about me. And that has propelled Manoj Bajpayee to take a risk of going to Delhi. But before going to Delhi, I came across few of the interviews of Mr. Nasruddin Shah or Mr. Raj Babbar, who made it quite big in Saaf Ka Taraju.
Yeah.
These are the interviews, and Mr. Nasruddin Shah's films I was not exposed to. I only read his interview in few of the Hindi magazines.
Yeah, yeah.
But they mentioned National School of Drama's name. And that is where I decided that this is where I should go. I should not straight away go to Mumbai. I should go to Delhi, do some theatre, be part of National School of Drama, prepare myself, and then leave for Mumbai. But when I came to Mumbai, I got rejected after I joined Delhi University. I've done graduation in history. But still, most of my days were spent in doing theatre. I tried for National School of Drama. I was not taken in, but I kept on doing theatre outside, kept on, applying for National School of Drama.
Yeah, you got rejected 3 times.
3 times. You know what has happened? But when I was not stopping outside, I was working continuously, or, attending workshops. Started working with Barry John, working in the plays directed by all the NSD alumni or the teachers outside. And they started finding me quite exciting. And slowly and gradually, though there was always a regret that I couldn't get into National School of Drama, but still I tried to create a massive credibility for myself as an actor in Delhi theatre scene. But when I was doing theatre, I started watching Mr. Nasruddin Shah's work and Mr. Om Puri's, Govind Nalani, Satyajit Ray, Shyam Benegal, John Abraham from Malayalam cinema, and so many others from Malayalam cinema, and Kannada independent films and Tamil independent films, and Mr. Kamal Hassan was weaving a magic, all across. So I was exposed to different kind of craft, different kind of cinema. That kind of changed my definition of the films that I wanted to be part of.
Nice.
And after that, I've only chased to become an actor. I fall in love with the craft. The more I work on it, more I feel that there is still so much left. More performances, great performances you see from the actors of India, be it from Tamil or Telugu or Malayalam, or you see some of the great performances at the international film festivals or from Hollywood. There is so much to learn. There is so much to learn, and that love for the craft is actually always kept me going. Right. And that has determined my choice, my choices of films. Right. And then after some time, I started becoming more stubborn about my filmography and how it should look.
Did you have a plan B in case your acting career did not work out?
I never had plan B.
You said no plan B?
No plan. This is what I tell all my students when I am conducting a workshop, which I keep doing. If you are an actor, and if you are in this business only for the love of acting, then you should not have a plan B. And if you are here for the love of Mercedes and big apartments and a bungalow and certain kind of bank balance, then you should have a plan B. And if you're just here for the, for pure love of the craft, even if you're not getting opportunity, you will find time or ways to express yourself. And I was always very ready to just act. Medium never mattered.
So many people come to Mumbai to become actors, right? It's like every year. Whether they make it or not has definitely got to do with luck, whether you call it luck or destiny or being at the right place at the right time, meeting the right people, all those kinds of things. But those are the external factors. What are the internal factors necessary to make it as an actor?
The patience.
Patience.
Patience is a very difficult thing. I mean, it's very easy to write it on social media and write a poem about patience, but to be patient it can actually break you.
Yeah.
It can actually make you question your own ability. But if you are patient and really working on yourself all the time, are you interested in becoming an actor or not? That search you have to do. And when you are searching, be honest about it. Anyone who is, landing at Mumbai Central can dream of becoming Mr. Bachchan. But you have to search within yourself. Do you have those elements to become Mr. Bachchan?
Or Manoj Bajpayee?
I mean,
no,
yeah,
but
so
you have proved, this is something that you've proved over the years,
yeah,
right?
so I can easily, stand up and say that I can be this and this, and now I'm going to Mumbai. I mean, anybody can. You just have to buy a ticket and organize, a few thousand rupees to survive in this city for a few months. But is that enough? I mean, your dream has to be, the real dreams are based on reality. Okay, real dreams are never out of touch of what you can offer or your own ability. So that they have to find. That is something, as a teacher, I cannot give it to them. You as a friend cannot give it to anyone who suddenly think of becoming an actor or a director. They have to search within themselves. Are they? The search should be about only one thing: why you want to become an actor. That why is a very, very important question. And you have to be very honest when you are asking this to yourself. I realize that, if I don't become an actor, if I don't continue to become an actor, if I'm not getting to act, it frustrates me.
Right.
As if I am not doing some, acting exercises in that day's time when I'm looking for work, I start feeling guilty by the end of the day. When my friends come to my that small room where I was staying with other 3-4 people, if they come by the evening and we start drinking, believe me, Baradwaj, I never enjoyed the drink if I had not done my acting exercises in the day. The love for the craft or the passion for the craft has to be there. Only that will take care of you. Whether you become Mr. Bachchan or not, definitely you'll become a good actor.
Anurag Kashyap recently gave a workshop at the International Film Festival of Kerala, and somebody from the audience during the Q&A session stood up and said they wanted to become an actor, and how do I become that? Anurag said just 2 words: be vulnerable. Does that kind of fit in with what you define as acting, or what it takes to become an actor?
I mean, to be creative, you have to be vulnerable, not only an actor. That is vulnerable means that you are never satisfied with whatever you've done. Vulnerable means you are always open to life.
Right.
And the new experiences. Vulnerable doesn't only mean that you get hurt very easily.
Yeah.
But even if you get hurt, more than observing the other person who has hurt you, you should be observing yourself as to what that feeling of hurt is doing to your organs or the body or the mind. So when it comes to the lesson on observation, what mostly people make a mistake is they start observing other person. It's always about you observing your own self. Every moment, when you talk about third eye, actor's third eye should be looking inside.
Wow.
It's not about looking outside, because when you understand yourself, through yourself you understand others, and through yourself you understand all the characters that you're going to play.
When you moved from theatre to Bandit Queen, Drokal, and so on and so forth, what was the biggest challenge you faced in terms of like, because a theater is a free space, even though you are blocking and all that, but
Right.
it's still a relative. Whereas with the camera, there are very specific spots that you have to hit. So what was it that, or was it something else, or were you at completely
No,
ease?
I was not at ease. I mean, when I was doing Bandit Queen, I was confused. I was completely thrown off because you are doing one scene and one dialogue is you are doing now for this lens, then the camera angle changes, then you are doing another dialogue. So I was completely thrown off. The only person who came to my rescue was Mr. Shekhar Kapoor, and I went up to him. I said, "How should I do it? The camera is here." He said, "Why you are thinking about camera? That's the job of the cinematographer. That's not your job. You just act the way you act in theater. He will capture you. Don't think about anything else." I think he said it so simply, but that kind of rung a bell. After that, I started getting easier in my skin. But mostly, what has prepared me for cinema acting is a soap that I have done, Swaviman, and they used to have 3 cameras, and it was like theater. So I love to rehearse. So we used to rehearse scenes twice or thrice, but I wanted to rehearse more and more and more, 7, 8 times, 9 times, 10 times. Sometimes the directors used to get flustered. They were, "Manoj, ho gaya, that's it." But so when I was working for that soap, that was the time I started exploring each and every angle for my performance. Since it lasted for a very long time, 260 episodes, something like that. So every day used to be a very exciting time for me. So the soap has actually, initially I thought that I'm making a compromise by saying yes to it, but I also needed money to survive in this city, and my best friend, he was hell-bent on me doing this one because he couldn't see me going through that miserable, time when I was in my initial days of Mumbai. But I really thank my luck that I said yes to it. That was the time, that experience actually prepared me for Satya.
Yeah.
So when I went for Satya, I was easy, There was no intimidation, camera intimidation. I was completely, go ahead, prepare the character and just go all out and perform. So yes, each and everything comes in a very unpredictable way, but actor's job should be just to prepare himself for the bigger opportunity and nothing else.
Now you refer to your technique as method acting, am I right?
I do all kind of, there is, method acting is actually, the whole thing came in vogue only after Stanislavski's book. But initially I read, when I was doing theater, I was given this book by a friend of mine. I read 10 pages of it, I couldn't understand a thing.
This is Stanislavski?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and it was Mr. Barry John who told me that, you should remember one thing, that Stanislavski has done so many plays and spent so many years of acting before he wrote this book. And you want to understand it, just, when you're not only one play old. So first you should have an experience in acting, then only you will understand what exactly is written and what he is trying to say. And then after that, I have never read any book on acting. Afterwards, I started getting into the habit of reading and noting down. What I have realized that apart from all the books and the methods which are, jotted down by so many people all across the world, you have to be flexible enough to change your approach or method for each and every role and on the genre that you are dealing with.
Right.
Okay. If I'm doing a mainstream film, I can't apply a Stanislavski there. They don't have time. They will not appreciate it. They will not understand it, because in mainstream, you are trying to titillate the audience. You are trying to excite them, and if you start getting into the skin of the character, it will do no good either to the film or the vision of the director. You can't do it. But when you are doing a middle of the road cinema, and this Mr. Kamal Hassan was so good. Whenever he's done, say, Tevar Magan or say Naikan, he's gotten into it because it was middle of the road. It was not mainstream at all. It's just that the makers knew how to be different in their content and also, make it accessible for the audience. For the audience. But Mr. Kamal Hassan, he changed his approach. Be it Sadma or say Ek Duje Ke Liye. He kept on changing his approach depending on the genre or the character that he was dealing with.
So are you saying that when you do a Veer Zara or an LOC Kargil, you do it in a different way from...
Yeah, different way, completely different way.
Okay.
But when we are doing Aligarh, the approach will change.
So, so let me just interrupt you.
It's immersive.
Right. So that immersion, but you still, even in Veer Zara or LOC Kargil, you still have to make that character convincing, right?
Convincing, but you are looking at the character from you are always in detachment with the character.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you explain that?
There are two ways, in theatre they say there is one is Brechtian and one is Stanislavski. Okay. Brechtian is mostly you tell the audience, you make them believe that you are this person, but at the same time you keep yourself detached from the impact of the character. Okay. But with this Stanislavski method, you make the audience believe that they are not watching any actor.
Right. They're watching the character.
The life is actually happening in front of them and the real ones are really moving. So yeah, I just hope that I explained it well.
Yeah, you did.
So for Veer Zara or for LOC or for say I've done Satyamev Jayate has done quite well. After cut, I'm out of the character. But when I'm doing Aligarh, I'm doing this film with Devashish Makhija, I just kind of after cut, I just go and sit in the corner. Okay? I don't want to be disturbed. I don't want anyone or any sound to get me out of my zone.
Right.
So I'm that immersed. Because if I'm not that way, the immediately getting into the character, immediately getting into the ways of the character or the mind of the character will not be possible. So I don't want to disturb it.
Right.
Yeah.
So let me get into that technique a little bit. So I'll take two characters, one extroverted character and one introverted character. Let's take Bhikhu Matre from Satya. Let's take Ramchandra Siraj from Aligarh.
Both are immersive.
Can you tell me how you prepared for these roles? For example, was it reading? Was it, I'm not talking about going through the script or writing notes, not that. I'm talking about you, like, okay, this is Ramchandra Siraj, this is Bhikhu Matre. How do you, I know it's not possible to explain this.
No, I can because, I can explain it because I exactly know how I started.
Okay.
And how it all ended. So, Anurag Kashyap and Saurabh Shukla, they were writing the script with Mr. Ram Gopal Verma. They had a rough, screenplay, a rough sketch of the film. And I was lucky enough to know both of these two writers because I introduced them to Ram Gopal Verma. And we used to sit at my place after the shoot.
Right.
I requested Anurag to at least, give me a brief of whatever rough that they had prepared for, because they were planning to go on the set, and that's how Ramu was. With that kind of a rough sketch, he could go on the set completely. He didn't have that much of patience to wait for the final script. In those days, final script was not even in any kind of fashion. Anurag has given me a brief narration of one line, okay, and he said that everything is going to change. It may change. So what I got from it is the placement of the positioning of the character and what are the outer elements of the character. The wife is there, there is a kid, and the relationship in one line with Satya, with Kallu Mama, and all of these guys. That's all I got. Then I worked on my backstory, which I have never told anyone, because Ramu was never interested in knowing how you were preparing for the character. He just wanted a result in front of the camera, which was fair enough. So I worked on the backstory of Bhikkhu Mhatre. I worked on the gate. I worked on the costume. Took money from the production on the basis of the interpretation that I had of Bhikkhu Mhatre. I had to go and go for the shopping of the shirts. You won't believe I was not satisfied with all the shirts that I was getting. And I got these shirts from a very small shop in the nook and corner of Hill Road. And I bought around, say, 10 or 11 shirts from him because I was looking for a certain kind of fabric. So everything was clear in my mind. So it took me 4 or 5 months to work on the character. I was completely Bhikkhu Mhatre ready. So if you give me any scene, even if I don't know the scene, even if you don't have the script, Bhikkhu Mhatre is ready to get into the scene. Okay? So I went backwards with Satya, and it worked. Sometimes I didn't know where the character is coming from and where he is going to go. But because the character was ready, I just used to memorize my lines, do my rehearsals, get some ideas, improvise. So I started having fun because I was character ready. But with Aligarh, after the first narration, then I read the script again and again. Then I requested Hansal to give me someone who is well versed in Marathi. So the chief assistant director was a person who was not only a Marathi guy, but also someone quite well read, well versed in Marathi language and literature. So he used to come to my place, and I used to give him a job to do something in terms of sharing. Okay. One day I asked him, "Can you please play some Marathi poet recitation?" So he used to play Marathi poet recitation, find it out on YouTube. Sometime I used to ask him to teach me alphabets in Marathi. Sometime I used to ask him to correct me when I'm reading Marathi. So one day he asked me, "Why you are doing this? This film is in Hindi. You don't need to learn Marathi or hear Marathi. And why you're making me do this?" For 20 days, Baradwaj, I kept on doing this. One exercise or the other. He was there to facilitate me. And after 11 days, I could see some expression changing on his face. And the 20th day, when we kind of finished the whole session, he said, "Thank you very much. I saw a preparation which was miraculous." I said, "What happened?" He said, "You don't realize it?" I go, "No." "You are serious." So what I did, in the beginning itself, I decided not to focus on his sexual preference, rather to focus on his music and love for literature. And that when I started focusing on it, I started getting serious right in my preparation days. These are the tricks that one applies. Till now it has worked for me. Also because, Baradwaj, I have always been conducting workshops. I am trained by Mr. Baradwaj. This is something I do out of passion. I love sharing the knowledge and the experience with the newcomers. And I go to National School of Drama. I go to so many other institutes to conduct, and that also gives me a lot of courage to try out new things for different characters that I get to play.
Right. Actually, you're conducting a workshop right here. This is fantastic. This is like, what about something like The Family Man, Manoj? I know that the process is pretty much like your immersive process, but because it's such a long episodic thing, as it is, films are shot out of sequence, so there is a bit of exercise there. But when it comes to something which takes up such a lot of time,
Right.
over, I don't know, 10 episodes? So
10,
whatever.
10,
Yeah, 10, yeah. Is there any change in terms of the acting process?
It doesn't change that much. A little bit of tweaking is there.
Just some
definitely.
technical stuff?
There's some technical stuff. The biggest challenge is, to remember the sequence before the scene that you are playing and after the sequence which you are playing, because there are 8 episodes. That means you are actually making 4 films, three and a half films.
Right.
That's my biggest challenge, because I'm quite a stickler about for consistency and the graph.
Yeah.
For me, graph is something that I cannot falter, and that is something only I can see. I mean, most of the critics, they fail to point it out, but I see it very clearly, and that gives me sleepless nights as to how I could miss this, how I could miss this one or that one. So the graph is something I'm very, very careful about. Suppose I'm doing a scene, I try to read 3-4 scenes before that and 4-5 scenes after that. Just flip through, so you exactly know where you are coming from and where you are going and what should be the where this scene is,
the pitch.
Yeah, where this scene is, in terms of the whole series. So these are the things one works on, but at the same time, the outline of the character is there with me.
Right.
The backstory is there with me. But it doesn't look immersive when I'm on the set, because I'm having fun. But I'm having fun only because that kind of lightness gives me that courage to improvise. Family Man will not work if characters don't improvise, because everything is in the moment. And it's not an intense story. It's a story about a man who's actually shuffling between his demanding family and demanding job. All the humor that comes out of it, there is no intention of making you laugh.
Right.
It's the situation and in the manner he responds, we find ourselves there. So that was the whole struggle, to make it more relatable to people. And it's easier if you're married, and you can easily relate to Shrikant Tiwari. Anyone in this world, whoever is married, be it a man or woman, they always find it very, very tough to, get the balance between the family and the job. It's a struggle, it's a day-to-day struggle of each and every middle-class person. When I first got an offer, this is exactly what attracted me. And the reason I accepted this series is this, the relatability factor. I realized that this is the story of each and everyone who is traveling in the local train. If they find it relatable, then somewhere I am successful.
Right.
And to make them find it relatable, I have to find the character within me.
Right.
I didn't look for Shrikant Tiwari outside. I actually found him inside.
Yeah. And this immersion sometimes results in many actors the world over who practice various techniques have told about how sometimes they get affected by it, or they are kind of a thing. For you, the film that kind of broke you was Shul. You said that you were very disturbed for a while after completing it.
Right.
Why did it affect you so much?
If you read the script of Shul, it's a mainstream film, good versus evil, okay? But written in a very realistic way by Anurag, and set in a real time, in a real place. I realized that the only way I can make it look much more credible is by really getting into it. And this guy is stubborn. He's passionate about his job. He's non-breakable, but he loses everything. He's losing his daughter, he's losing his wife. So everything that a hero, formula film hero doesn't go through, he goes through it. And then my own interpretation was that I should, sketch a graph which is not going towards killing the bad guy, but rather which is going towards him losing the mental alignment.
Right.
So the end portion, we don't emphasize that he's gone mad, but I performed it in such a way that there is a hint of mental unsettlement. We are taking upon all the misery that the character is going through. You are taking it so personally. You so much so that actually you are not laughing and smiling on the set. You are sitting in one corner for 45 days, and I'm excluding the time that has gone into preparing for the character. When I came back, I was happy that I could do it, but I didn't realize that the damage it has done, and I started having sleepless nights. I used to hardly sleep, 1 hour, 2 hours mostly, and those 1 hour, 2 hours I used to have horrific dreams. I used to have. Then I became very temperamental. I started losing it on anything, on anybody. The character was still continuing. I thought that I left it behind, but he continues. He continues to surface in my personal life, in my professional life, on the set, for the other films. I mean, it became very, very miserable for me. Then I spoke, someone introduced me to some psychiatrist and said, why don't you speak to him? I spoke to him and I told him, it was 1 hour session, and he told me one thing, that you've been taking this, your characters so seriously for so many years from your theatre days, that now is the time you are breaking down. So this is not only for this film, this is the impact of all of those years. So you got to change your approach. From there I started working on myself all over again, my own craft, my approach, how to be immersed, but still there is one part of you looking at you, okay? And that gives me, since then, now I have mastered that art,
right,
after so many years.
So now, even if you do a complicated role,
Yeah,
afterwards you detach from yourself.
I detach. It doesn't take too many days to come out.
It doesn't stay with you that
Yeah,
long.
it doesn't stay with me.
Is there any role that you consider was your most challenging role, or has each role been challenging in its own way?
I would say Budhiya Singh.
Oh, really?
Budhiya Singh and Pinjar. These are the two roles. Yeah. I'll give you the reasons for it. I mean, Pinjar, if you read the novel written by great Amrita Pritamji, the entire film, you are seeing this guy who forcibly married this girl,
Yeah.
who he abducted. Now, for me, I'm looking for redemption, but for audience, he's a villain. So he starts as a villain. To really sympathize with his redemption, the search for redemption, I had really had to work hard and work on those nuances, the finer nuances which you may see, may not see when you watch the performance. But I was so happy that when the film got released, each and everyone could sympathize with Rashid's search for redemption, and to play it was not easy, because looking for those nuances and playing them not in a very overt way, at times just not playing at all, and trusting the audience or the people who watch it to find it out. I'm so glad that they found it out, to my luck. And the Budhiya Singh is again, because it was based on the coach who was rash, okay, who was completely brash in his behavior. Why he has adopted this kid, why he has was trying to play with the media, flamboyant, getting an opportunity to be in front of the media light, and being so ruthless with that 5-year-old kid. All of it together, I only had one interpretation to this character, that all criticism is right. But if you look at it from a distance, after his death, there was nobody to take care of that kid. This man didn't know any other way to prepare an athlete. No matter how hard he was on that 5-year-old, he was the only guy this kid had. Not even his parents.
Yeah.
Everyone was looking for their own benefit. But this was the man who wanted this kid to go on international level.
Right.
Okay. So for me, the focus has become to get that aspect of him to the screen. Apart from his all misunderstood
Right.
demeanor, which I had to keep it. But after having kept all of those elements, it was really getting impossible to get the human side of
Right.
Biranchi Das. And I'm happy that so many of you have found it out and wrote such nice things about it.
Yeah, I mean, now that you say it, there's a commonality, because on the surface they are bad people.
Yeah.
But you realize that there is a
human side of them.
Yeah.
There's another one like Gali Guliya. It's still not on any platform. I just hope and pray that one day it will come on some
It's
platform.
a beautiful film.
Yeah. It's a which is very difficult film. It's a film of a guy who's hearing sound in his mind.
Yeah.
And for the entire film, you don't even come to understand that it's actually the voices which is happening in his mind from his own childhood. I actually felt sick. I felt sick just in the days of the preparation itself. My wife one day said, I was crossing her in my house, and suddenly she said, "What did you say? What happened?" I said, "No, I didn't say anything." She looked at me and said, "Just take care of yourself. Don't take it so seriously, your character. You're talking to yourself." So I went to that limit, but I enjoyed. What was difficult, that to create those 100 voices, crisscrossing voices inside my head. See, the actor can do it, outwardly he can do it, give the shot, come out. But I realized that if it doesn't show in my eyes, it will fall flat.
Yeah.
And that if it can only show in my eyes, if I create those voices in my brain when I'm giving the shot. And when that started happening, I started falling sick. Sometime in that dilapidated house, they had a base somewhere else in Chandni Chowk. I didn't go. I never used to go to my room. I used to just lie down, and where the dust is falling on you, you can see. And to get it right, I had to reach there, as a performer, to really be truthful to the character. Yeah. These are the experiences that you go through as an actor. There is one scene in Gali Guliya, Baradwaj, which was cut for a different reason. In that, he's talking to somebody. As a matter of fact, he's talking to someone about his mother. Okay, as a matter of fact, completely matter of fact, and he's someone who is left behind by his mother to feed himself since his childhood. So, without even an iota of emotion, this guy is going on talking 2 pages long. He's talking about his childhood, the history, his relationship with his mother, and no emotion in his eyes. That was my favorite performance, but somehow it got cut. But
does it pain you when after all that effort something goes away from your film?
Yeah, it does. But over the years, I have realized that you really can't help it, because
the film is what matters.
Yeah. Director is looking at the film at large. So
I was going to bring up Gali Gulaya myself, because when you do something like Gali Gulaya or Rukh,
right.
And there are new directors. The whole point of an actor is that you have to trust your director, right? It's like so yes, you worked with let's say some directors more of like you worked with Ram Gopal Verma quite a bit. You worked with Hansal Mehta. There are certain directors you're comfortable with.
Right.
Whereas when there's a completely new director who comes in, how do you hand yourself over? Because that's one of the most That's what I was talking about earlier about. I mean, I guess Anurag was saying be vulnerable.
Right.
You're in that vulnerable state, but you have to be able to trust this person that they're going to. How does that happen?
That initial, initial meetings with them, or most of them, most of these directors have made short films. And when you look at those short films, you know their ability. You are completely sure about the vision that they are presenting it to you. Okay. The only thing that they want from this experienced actor that they have come to is to make himself available to them, to make himself vulnerable to them. And I find it easy because, as I said, I am in love with this craft. I want to grow as an actor every day. Never sit back and relax. I am very easy when I am working with Devashish Mukhija or Kanu Behel or Ram Reddy or Anurag Kashyap. I'm very easy, or Rahul Chitela. I'm very easy with them. They are hammering me. They are questioning me. I just love it because at the end of the day, they are making sure that I go out of this film richer as an actor, and also find certain more aspects of Manoj Bajpayee as an actor, which I am unable to. After a few years, you are unable to find out about, the areas they take you there, which is there right inside you. You are unable to after so many years. You want somebody's help to take you inside those corners of your actor which you haven't explored.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, thanks to them that I'm growing every day.
Has it ever happened that trust has backfired in the sense that it looks like a good project, you think this is a good director, you think this has happened, but I don't want you to name names.
Amazingly, it has never happened.
Never happened?
Never
Okay.
happened.
So your instincts have always been spot on?
Spot on. And instincts is something that, which it can only be working all the time when you are not self-obsessed. Thankfully, I am not. I give it to them. I give it to them, and they just kind of crush me, grind me, and at times I get annoyed, but they take all my tantrum because they know that I'm their senior, but they don't leave me alone. They make me go through it. They keep saying sorry, but they are sure of one thing, that no matter how annoyed you are, pacify yourself, be happy, then come back and do it again. This is what I love about these new directors and these amazing directors. I mean, they are amazing visionary, I call them.
Yeah.
Be it Anurag or Devashish or Kanu Behel I have worked with. He's not in awe of you at all. He makes sure that you give 900%. I mean, forget about 100%. Kanu Behel wants 900%, and he makes sure that you give that 900%. But I'm happy that these people I work with are interested in those areas of Manoj Bajpayee, which Manoj Bajpayee himself is not aware of.
Manoj, after a while, we've been seeing you on screen for so long, right? I asked the actor Pasupati this Tamil actor Pasupati,
Right.
and I'm asking you the same question. We know your face. We know how you smile.
Right.
You know how you laugh.
Right.
You know how you frown.
Right.
There are
Right.
certain things you can't change about
Right.
it, right? And yet you have to keep convincing us that you're doing
Right.
like different things.
Right.
Do you work on those aspects as well? Like, in this film, I'm going to give a full smile. In this film, I'm going to give a smaller smile.
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
So
Yes.
that the face is still going to change.
Yeah, because when you are working on the character, you are working on the inner aspect of it and also the outer aspect of
Right.
it. Outer aspect of it is determined by the inner aspect. So nothing is there just for the heck of it. My laughter in Satya was completely different from my laughter in Aks.
Right.
Okay, and there is an interpretation to it. There is an idea behind it. Some people find it, what do you call it, unique, and wonder as to why I did it, or some regular audience find it quite stylish, very interesting, exciting, but there is an idea behind it. Serious laughs or smiles in a different way, and Bhosle doesn't smile at all. He doesn't smile, and I decided not to let him smile at all.
Right.
Okay, so yeah, these are the things that you work on, and definitely in collaboration with the director, or with his approval, with his agreement. He is always on the same page, or when I'm trying out different things. But you're right that this is the only instrument.
Yeah.
Okay, this is one Manoj Bajpayee who is playing different roles. But I'll start repeating myself if I start avoiding getting into the character.
All right. If you become complacent.
Yeah, if I start repeating the content, or the character more or less, similar, I start accepting, then that means I'm looking for security, which I am not more interested in, Baradwaj. I'm not interested in security because I'm more interested in my craft, and I'm badly in love with my craft.
Now, you've also done Tamil films, Telugu films. And
Yeah.
when you do a film in a language that you do not understand, this process becomes even more complicated.
See, there's only one film that I have done, Vedam, directed by Krish in Telugu, where Krish has completely, take me through the grind. He made me memorize those lines in Telugu, and made me really get into the character, and the result was really good. But other than that, all the directors, I mean, I've done 2 films in Tamil.
Yeah.
I've done 4 films 3 films in Telugu. There was another film called Happy, which was commercially successful, but that was, playing to the gallery. And Puli I have done by S.J. Surya was the director. S.J. Surya is another crazy guy. So he made me, mug up those 15 lines in Telugu and 20 lines. But, mostly the directors that I have worked with only because they were desperate to have me in their films. They loved me as an actor. They could only see me. I didn't go there willingly, believe me. I went there only because of their love. After a point, I said, no, I can't do it because I don't know the language. I really don't know don't exactly know at times what I'm saying. Okay, and that was the time I started, distancing myself from doing anything which is in a different language which I can't understand. Still, when I go to Chennai to shoot for Family Man Season 2, still I meet Kumar Raja, I meet Vetri Maran, who I am a fan of, to do something with me which doesn't have lines.
That's going to be difficult. If you had to pick one director who molded you the most, who would that be?
I think someone who's really used me in all aspect was Ramu. With every offer of his used to be so exciting.
Yeah, Con, Road.
Con, Road, or Satya, Shul, so, or anything. I mean, just I done a Telugu film also with him called Prema Katha. Yeah. I enjoyed. Ramu is a great talker. He has a very unique idea about performances and direction and screenplay writing and life. I used to just sit with him and listen to him. Not that I agreed with him, but it's always great to listen to someone's, a different idea which sounds so exciting and so credible when you are hearing it from a person like Ram Gopal, and he's convinced about it. That was the most beautiful thing about Ramu.
Now, recently you were in the news for talking about films being spoken about only about the box office aspect of it, and that
Right.
you're not talking about the content of it.
Right.
How do you make peace with the fact that this is the film world today? Because everybody seems to be more interested in not just RRR or KGF, but even the regular films. It's like, oh, this film made this much money on the first weekend or first Friday. So like, you know, that's it's become, first it was the first weekend. Now it's like first Friday, you know, like Saturday occupancy, footfalls. Everybody, it's like that's become the dominant kind of thing.
RRR, Pushpa, KGF, and so many other Hindi film blockbusters do well. That means people are going to the theatre.
Movies, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it means it is being liked.
Right.
Okay. I would like to hear that. I would like to read that. You know, how can we deny that? You know, it has done very well with the audience. It has done very well.
Yeah.
You know. So my comment was not on that. My comment was on the portals, only talking about the footfall. Yeah, it is successful, no denying about it. And who are we to deny? It is visible, okay? They have done so well, and it's good that, you know, films have been doing well. People are going to the theatre, they are loving that film for whatever reason. The fact is, they loved it, and we are not here to contest that. My problem is that the most of the portals and the mainstream journalists, they are only talking about the footfalls, as if the money is going to go into their bag.
Yeah.
Okay, so I say, talk about the actors, talk about the director's vision, talk about the cinematographer, the sound, or you go to the audience and talk to them how much they loved, Allu Arjun, and how Allu Arjun pulled off this sequence. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about Ram Charan and NTR, doing those sequences and doing it so well. Okay. Or Raja Mauli, let's talk about his vision. So we don't talk about the craft of the creative people. We are more interested in how much it has made. It has made money, definitely, but that is why it is a blockbuster. You don't need to give me an account of penny to penny.
It's like a bank statement.
It's just like a bank statement. Okay, the only thing that they are talking about is this many crores, that many. Yes. But let's give respect to the creative people who are attached with it, who have really, given their sweat and blood to make what they have made.
Right.
That's my contest, and that's my problem. And this is not only with now. This has been the case in the Hindi film industry. At least I know that for so many years, I have been saying this. For so many years, they keep getting annoyed with me, but I actually not that much, disturbed by their annoyance, because I'm saying the right thing. I'm saying, let's talk about the creative people. Right. Let's talk about the vision and the hard work that those people have put in.
I'm going to take a little break from the seriousness and ask you a light question.
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk about the story that I recently heard, that your first visit to a nightclub or discotheque was with a company of Shah Rukh Khan.
Shah Rukh is such a big star. Anything related to him, I say, it becomes a news. Yeah, I mean, we were. Shah Rukh was with Barry, I think, for 2 years. I was with Barry for.
You at the same time.
Yeah, same time we were there. So yeah, I mean, there were so many friends who were there that night. I'm still in touch with them. We are still very good friends. Shah Rukh his life has become different from us. But yes, I still remember looking for shoes to get into a discotheque, because I was in chappal. It was in Delhi, Maurya, I think. Ghungru was the name of the discotheque, if I remember it correctly. So yeah, Shah Rukh and Benny, these are the people, Rama, yeah, these are the people who took me to a discotheque. That was the first time I experienced a discotheque. Yeah.
What was it like? It was...
I mean, dark, dingy, music happening, which was in English. I
have never heard the word dingy being used with the discotheque before.
Yeah, but after that, once I started making money in Mumbai, then there were many things that you do that you couldn't do it frequently because of lack of money in your young days. There were two, three things I have overdone. One, going to a discotheque in Mumbai. At times, and here, when I was doing soap, I was doing a role in a series where even Madhavan was there. So Madhavan used to take me to these discotheque.
There is a serious actors discotheque club.
Yes.
Oh my God. How do you go? I mean, wouldn't everybody be
Now
lining
they are
up for
called
selfies and
those
autographs?
Days, no, those days we were not that famous. I mean, we're doing television series, but I experienced it quite a lot in Mumbai with Madhavan and other fellows. And the second thing I overdid was I had loads of Coke, Coca-Cola.
Okay. I'm glad you
And
clarified
Fanta.
that.
Yeah. Because that was something I could not afford when I was doing theatre. Because I used to love having Coke. Coca-Cola. Every time I'm saying Coke.
Yeah. That's like
So that is something that I've overdone. And so much so that I started gaining weight. I didn't realize that, if you have 7-8 Coca-Cola in a day, you start getting fatter. And then one day someone said that, don't have so much Coke because your face is now swelling up and you are bloating up now. So that was the time I started controlling. Then I controlled my discotheque going so much that it has been more than 10 years that I went into any kind of a bar and lounge that they call it now. There are no more discotheques.
When you constantly are praised for your performances, when people acknowledge you as one of our greatest actors of this generation, and when all this praise keeps coming your way, awards keep coming your way, these special directors keep seeking you out for special roles, how do you stop letting it get into your head that you're special and you're good, and how do you how do you not slack off? How do you say that, I can manage this? How do you keep yourself grounded?
I think had it happened to me in the initial days of Mumbai, maybe it would have completely, thrown me off.
Had
it happened, I mean, when success or had it come very easy to me, it has never come easy. The things that are now when people are recognizing the filmography or the contribution, and when they analyze my work, I feel good because this is something I wanted. I wanted to do serious work. I wanted to contribute, and I'm happy that I'm contributing, not only through film but through my workshops, through my own conduct. I always believed that actors are only doing their job. They are not icons. We are only doing our job. So I think the education and the grooming that I've had because of my parents or the teachers that I worked with, maybe because of that I take these compliments with a lot of humility, but at the same time I feel that there is a lot to do, a lot of work need to be done, a lot of things I have to achieve vis-a-vis my craft, many exciting directors I'm going to work with. When I'm talking to you, I'm already trying to find more new directors who I can work with, who can really challenge me, excite me. But I take appreciation only as an appreciation, not as a vehicle to ride on it and feel powerful. It is actually what is great that I have the freedom to choose,
Right.
and I feel privileged.
Right.
After so many years, almost 3 decades in this industry, if you feel that you are in a position where you can choose, this is the time I have been striving for. From the time when I didn't have anything to choose from to the time when I have a lot to choose from, I think That's my definition of success and nothing else.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Manoj. This has been a real pleasure and a real privilege actually listening to your talk. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Baradwaj. Thank you for flying down from Chennai. Thank you very much.